All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show. Last week, you probably noticed that we didn't actually have the episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show because we were running our monthly live workshop covering all things off-market mastery, but we're back this week with a brand new episode. And today, what I really want to talk to you guys about is simply 3 things that I wish I had known sooner prior to starting, growing and scaling my property business. Now, here's the reality. It's all about work-life balance. Does it exist? And do you know something? My honest answer, I don't know that it does exist. I hear people talk about work-life balance. I read books about work-life balance. I see quotes and memes about work-life balance and namaste and everything's feng shui, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that work-life balance exists. So here's the reality, guys. When you are running your own business, and we will use the umbrella of property in this example because the reality is, if you're tuning into this podcast, if you're reading my daily emails, if you're in the free Facebook community at Property Sourcing Made Simple, the chances are it's because you are pursuing actively or aspiring to pursue property as your business. But when you are running your own business and you are the one that is ultimately responsible for whether it succeeds or whether it fails, it can be really hard to have any form of balance in your day-to-day life. In my own experience, starting, growing, and scaling 2 or 3 property businesses beginning 8 years ago when I was on maternity leave, work-life balance was almost a shiny buzzword, a shiny buzz phrase that people like to throw out there in the hope that they would appear like they had their shit together, right? And the reality is it actually did nothing but serve to make the rest of us feel like absolute shit. When it seems like our days and our nights run into weeks, run into months, and before we know it, the year has come to a close. We've been running at breakneck speed the entire time. We are exhausted, we are overwhelmed, we are burnt out, we are frustrated, we are stressed. Throw in perimenopause for good measure, and you've an absolute recipe for an absolute disaster. So if you are trying to, whether it's start or grow, scale your property business, whether that's portfolio building for investors or the hybrid model approach that I really am a massive advocate for, which is scale your own portfolio for your wealth creation and then source on behalf of investors for your cash flow. But if you are in that phase right now or in the weeds of trying to hit the scale button or the grow button, and you're doing it alongside a busy day job or a hectic home life, I want you to know this. Work-life balance does not exist. Okay, I'm going to say that to you again. Work-life balance does not exist. But there are 3 things that I know today that I genuinely wish I had known when I was genuinely struggling to keep my head above water a few years ago. You know, I was battling looking after a brand new newborn baby. I was also running a household. I was also trying to get my property business off the ground. I was trying to get some traction because my end goal was to not to have to return to my corporate job at the end of my maternity leave period, which went on for a 13-month period. Okay, and I'm obviously very glad that within that 13-month period, I was able to hand in my notice to the corporate job. We did hit 6 figures in sourcing fees and we've gone on to scale from there. But this was my goal back then. And so I was stressed to the absolute hilt. But there are 3 things that I know today that I genuinely wish I had known when I was trying to get out of the weeds of my property business. And the first one is set clear boundaries from the offset. So what I would encourage you guys to do is put aside specific work blocks for your 9-to-5 job, your corporate job, whatever that might be, and stick rigidly to your assigned work blocks for your property stuff, for your property ventures. You don't need 4 hours a day. 30 minutes every day without fail will take you further than 4 hours scattered every now and again. So it's about being realistic and consistent. If you do 4 hours a day, fantastic. But if you do 4 hours every now and again, I'm telling you now, the 30-minute time block, Monday through to Sunday, will take you further. So set time blocking, set days and times in your diary for the sole focus of your property adventures. And nothing else really does help minimize distractions and the temptations to be swayed by a better offer. Bonus tip, put your phone into airplane mode. I wish I knew about this sooner. It's something that I do consistently now. If I have a piece of work that needs to get done, if I have important meetings that need to be taken care of, if I have phone calls that have to be had, if there is admin that I need to take care of, I do not allow myself to be pulled away by the shiny notification of, ooh, new email in, ooh, new Instagram reel out, ooh, Facebook Live happening. I put my phone onto airplane mode, I set a time block, I get the work done. I did not do that 8 years ago, and I wish I had. So top tip number 1 is set clear boundaries from the offset. The second thing that I wish I knew then, and I know now, is prioritizing self-care is absolutely essential. Now, I learned this the hard way, and I landed myself in hospital 13th of December 2016 on my son's 3rd birthday with burnout, a severe bout of pneumonia, a partially collapsed left lung, and a kidney infection like you have never seen. Now, I should have seen it coming. I was busting my ass to grow the business. I was doing 4:30 a.m. starts. I was doing midnight finishes. I was working on a per diet. There was no exercise. I was battered mentally and physically. Okay, I had no downtime, no me time, no off the clock time. And the irony being that I was pushing really hard to grow the business to benefit my family, but I was absolutely zero fucking used to them lying in hospital. Not only is it okay to have self-care in your diary, it's absolutely essential. Now, self-care does not have to mean taking yourself off for, a 5-star spa day. It doesn't need to be that. I mean, if you wanted to be that, it absolutely can be that, and I would totally promote you to do that. But it can be a walk every day. It might be reading a book in the evening. It might be, like I said, putting your phone into airplane mode. It might be a day off entirely. It might be a trip to the museum. Self-preservation is absolutely critical for the growth and expansion of your business, and I can tell you now, hands down, having walked that path, I learned it the hard way. Do not do it my way. It was not a smart idea. I fell into the trap of believing that the hustle hard mentality was the only way to get shit done, was the only way to grow my business, was the only way to be taken seriously. It's a lie. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. Self-care is essential. And the third thing that I wish I knew then that I do know now is that technology is your friend. You ask any of my team, you ask my husband, you ask my son, I am the least techie person that you will ever meet. I have to ask my 8-year-old to put the car radio station to the radio station that I like because I don't know how to do it. I literally need a step-by-step guide to turn on the kettle, never mind anything remotely more advanced. But here's what I do know. Here's what I do know to be true. Having systems and having processes involved in your property business from the get-go is a massive help. Now, I did resist it for the longest time because I suppose I didn't really know how to best utilize it. I was totally ignorant to it. But once I got myself over, well, actually, that's a lie. Once I paid somebody for an hour of their time to show me what to do, then I found a new sense of organization. And for once, I actually felt in control of my time and in control of my boundaries. Because here's what I will tell you. If you do not set your time and your boundaries, somebody else will set them for you. I fucking know that to be true. So these tools were like diary management apps, project management apps, automated email marketing apps, hiring a virtual assistant to help with the admin and the lower impact, lower income tasks pertaining to me in the business. Now, will these things install the much sought after work-life balance shit that we hear sprouted online and so many people desperately crave? Well, the reality is probably not. But like I said, when you are in charge of bringing home the bacon, then every day is game day. But in my own experience, they definitely helped bring order into my life. They definitely brought a routine into my business day-to-day structures. They brought organization into my business. And more than anything, as a result of all of that, they brought me peace of mind and contentment. So I prefer not to look at the life versus property business as a fight for a balance, but it's an opportunity to crank up your efforts when your time and energy allows for it, but being equally okay with what I call dimming the lights, turning the light switch down just a little bit when you choose to do so. You do not have to be hurtling down the motorway at Formula One speeds all the time. You do not have to be doing it. So if you take my advice, guys, on the 3 things that we've spoken about in today's episode, the 3 things that I wish I knew before I landed myself in hospital in 2019, you will absolutely thrive as a property entrepreneur, but also in your day-to-day, in your week-to-week commitments. And then taking time away from the business won't seem so daunting. It won't be so riddled with guilt. You won't feel like you're missing opportunity. You won't feel like you're taking a step backwards, because you will have put in place systems, processes, routines that means everything runs when you don't, and you've dimmed the lights. It is okay. Consider this me giving you permission, because you won't give it to yourself. We know that to be true. So consider this giving me giving you permission to step away for periods of time. It's not optional, it's essential. But what I do want you to take heed of is that be sure you have the infrastructure in place to support you when you are gone. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. We will be back again next week, as we always are, with another episode of the Property Sourcing Success Show. Remember, if you're listening to this back on Spotify and you're not inside our free Facebook community at Property Sourcing Made Simple, make your way there immediately. We have loads of free content in there on a day-to-day basis, polls, giveaways, live Q&As. And yeah, you can also add me as a friend on Facebook, Danielle Bell. If you're hoping to scale your property business this year and you're looking to break free from the shackles of your corporate job and you want the right woman to be able to help you to do that, drop me a message on Facebook and we can have a conversation and figure out if I am the right woman to be able to help you do that. Until next week, guys, have a fab weekend.